So version 3.1, let's go. Which bank account is most suitable as your level 1 account and why? Okay, so who is this for? Basically, I think you guys know about the context of REV already. For people who wants to have a system in your personal cash flow management, for people who wants to stop losing money subconsciously, psychologically, people want to max out your interest in their bank account or waiting for the market crash. So personally, by using this account, this system, right, I'm doing a risk-free around 150 to $200 every month for just doing nothing much lah. Yep, so that is something that you can do for yourself as well. And by the way, I just want to applaud you all for being on time. Okay, I really appreciate people being on time. I like it a lot, and thank you very much. Okay, so back to the preliminary. Basically, it's about selecting the banks. For multiplier account, there are many type of multiplier account. I've seen a few, and today I'll give you a bonus one is because seems like that account has some people prefer to use that account. I'm not sure why, but I'll share with you my findings also in the presentation later. So I prefer Singapore banks. That's because most of the time their benefits are consistent or improving. Recently, we see a improvement in their benefits, and I'm guessing it's because of the interest rate decrease in the states lah. Okay, and we third number three criteria will be the requirements are easy to meet. The last thing we want a multiplier account to do for us is to make our lives complicated. So what we want is we want to have a requirement that is easy to meet so that we can live our lives normally, invest, and do whatever we want. Today, I'm not going to talk about the fresh funds promotion. And these are the banks that I've shortlisted. As usual, every year when I do this exercise, I realize that day in, day out is it's kind of like the same banks. Okay, not a secret to that. And yep, so there you go. So the three market segment remains the same. So today I want to further segmentize it because there's a few people that ask me, I have a larger capital, would this be suitable for me? I have a smaller capital, is this suitable for me? And my characteristics are like such. Would this be more suitable instead? So today I've segmented it wise into based on I call it market cap or rather the amount of bank balance that we have. Yeah, there you go. So this is a typical strategy. Last year you guys seen it before. Today we will be focusing on the level 1 account, which is which account to choose as your multiplier account. Okay, that's about it. So a new updates from the 1st of May onwards, right? This is how the OCBC 360 account work. Basically, we want to hit the first two because what I mentioned before is the requirement should be easy to hit. So let's say if you have extra bonus, you save and there's an incremental $500 every month, okay, I'll go for you. This one would be, you will add at maybe an average of 0.3%. Then for the wealth portion, I think should not be the focus because if you have to buy an insurance product or you need to force yourself to invest with a bank to get this kind of interest, right? I think a bit quite stupid lah. Okay, so that's my own opinion only. And for growing the account, so this one a daily average of 200,000. If you have 200,000, very good. So this is the extra 0.8%, but I just want to focus on these two levels because these are the easiest to hit. And I want to compare it consistently over the next few banks that we are looking at. Okay, there you go. Next will be the DBS multiplier. DBS multiplier, right? Basically, for the DBS multiplier, it is basically from DBS account lah. So recently they changed their balance to 25,000. So which means they kind of like restrict a lot of money that is they don't want you to keep too much money in there lah, or that's what I've seen. Number two is this is that the credit income's transaction in one category. It means that you need to have a credit card spend, credited, and also a credit card spend. If you want to have more money into the bank, you need to fulfill more criteria. So personally, like I mentioned before in the OCBC one, I think this one you are forcing yourself. I mean, if it's along the way, it's great. But right now, I just want to do a simple comparison between the four banks later. I just want to take these two account. Okay. For those of you that are self-employed, I think there are none over here today. Basically, for self-employed, you really can do consider DBS because the income it can be in dividends as well. So if you have a consistent dividend that's coming in, this multiplier account works for you. But otherwise, we are looking at between this amount of percentage. We are focusing at this one over here. Okay, so Zeb, you just joined in. Basically, what you missed is basically my explanation of the OCBC account over here. Basically, like I mentioned, would be we are looking at salary and spending for the comparison across the board, because I feel that all this is close to is much or rather insignificant. This for wealth part, I think that if you need to force yourself to buy an insurance or investment product, quite defeats the purpose of a multiplier account. This is if, by the way, you have 200,000, it's good for you lah. And for DBS, it's the same thing. I'm focusing basically just on the one account, on the one category region. Okay, so if you happen to fall into the other portion, good for you. But otherwise, we are looking at this one currently lah. Okay, so those of you, I think two of you, okay, three of you the just came into the channel. Okay, that's great. Okay, so basically we are now talking about the DBS. Any questions you have, put it in the chat so that I can actually look at your questions lah. Otherwise, I'm looking at the third account already. Third account will be the UB one. So UB one is the one that the requirements, the only change they have was the percentage just decreased. So we are looking at this amount, and theirs is a tiered system. So if your balance in your account is 15,000, you get this amount of percentage. If it goes to the next 15,000, it goes to this percentage, and so on and so on. Above 75,000 is just the usual 0.5 lah. And by special demand, right, some of you want me to discuss about the BonusSaver. Actually the website is very well done, so it looks very attractive. So how it works, right, is focus more on the credit card spend more than anything else. So I've selected this region for a purpose because that's around the average expenditure people have in Singapore. This is the interest 0.05, and salary credited 1%, 1% flat. So very useful website, very attractive. So as usual, I will not be taking these two into the picture. And yeah, so now is the comparison wise. Looking at the summary of the four accounts, right, it will look like this. For OCBC 360, you need to have salary credited, yes. Okay, credit card spend not necessary. So if you don't have credit card spend, you still have your the percentage lah. So I put this 1.8% is because first 35,000 is 1.2%, next 35,000 is 2.4. So on average is 1.8, but I will calculate it for you in detail during the next few slides. You'll see what's going to happen. Cap capital, maximum capital you can have is 70,000. So DBS multiplier, do you need to credit your salary inside? Basically not necessary. You can do dividends if you have dividends. I guess most of us in the chat today or in the presentation today has a salary that's credited here. Okay. Credit card spend also not necessary. As long there is an inflow or an outflow of the amount of money, basically you get the maximum 1.9% lah. Okay. Then cap capital is at 25,000 because we are looking at one category. Okay, so UOB1 also not necessary to have credit card credit your salary in. You can either do 3 gyro arrangement or credit card. Otherwise, salary and credit card. So the similarity is credit card is a definite yes over here. It's a tiered percentage, so I didn't put any percent here. Maximum is 75,000. So BonusSaver, yes, you need to have credit card spend and also credit your salary. 1% in your for your salary. Maximum is 100,000. So this one looks like if you have more money, this one kind of like looks like it makes sense. Okay, so I just want to share a few kind of like in the tier system, how would it look like if you have a small capital, medium capital, or max out the account. And I just want to put things into context because I need to do a few assumptions before I can carry on. Otherwise, people will say that, oh, this doesn't fit me. Basically, my assumptions is based on a mean salary of 4,500 per month, based on the based on Ministry of Manpower statistics, on average, the mean salary in Singapore is around 4,500. And based on household expenditure survey is around $1,006. So we are looking at these two numbers. And the last one, I couldn't find any data. So I just want to put 50% expenditure on a credit card spend. Okay, so this would hit the tier of the minimum $500 a month or based on credit card spend lah. So these are the three assumptions that I have so that I can do a comparison effectively. Otherwise, very hard to do a comparison lah. Okay, so there you go. If you have a small capital, for those of you who have, the last time somebody came to my seminar, he said that his capital is very small. Is it effective for him to have the DBS multiplier? Because DBS multiplier gives the highest percentage if your capital is small, 25,000. And based on my research, right, is that it depends whether you have credit card spend or not. So if your credit card spend is more than $500 every single month consistently, right, for a $10,000 capital in the bank account, the UB1 would be more superior. In fact, easily outstrip the rest because the credit card rebate is the maximum. The rest are tiered. Okay, so that's why for UB1, if you have a credit card spend or consistently more than $500, this one will totally make sense to you. Yeah, the guy is not here today. So let's say if you don't have credit card spend of more than 500, DBS multiply will be the one for you lah. So the assumption is we take the credit card spend, hence this one is more effective. And we look at a capital of $20,000. So $20,000, you can see that DBS multiply will win this kind of like easy already. And that but however, if you still have the credit card spend, right, the UB1 will be more effective as compared to the DBS multiplier. So if you have a small capital and you do spend more than $500 a month, you please do consider UB1. Otherwise, it will be the DBS multiplier lah. It's as simple as that. Okay. And next will be this. If you have a medium capital, right, things would have changed slightly. Because for UB1, you can see that the credit card spend is around is consistent. It will be $200. You can see the OCBC and the Stand Chart one will increase already because this is by percentage. So if you have a slightly bigger capital, medium capital, right, 50,000 or 70,000, you can see that OCBC 360 account will be more effective as compared to the UB1 account. DBS multiplier is dash is because the max cap is 25,000, so I will not be taking DBS multiplier into account. And for Stand Chart, right, it's quite okay lah, but then just lose a little bit to the OCBC 360. So if you have a medium capital, OCBC 360 is the one that is more effective. Okay, last but not least, if you max out the accounts, okay, so for OCBC 360, maximum is 70,000. DBS multiplier is 25,000. UB1 is 75,000. Stand Chart bonus account is 100,000. If you kind of like max out the accounts, right, the clear victory is for UB1 now, okay? Even though the percentage has decreased, but if you look at this, the numbers, it actually don't differ that much, maybe around $70 a year. Okay, so that is the verdict for if you have small capital, medium capital, and large capital. So it largely depends on your characteristic as well. So to help you further, right, this is some of the comments that I have based on people that have told me about the individual account. So I'm just going to start off with Stand Chart because so far nobody has commented anything about the Stand Chart currently. Okay, so for a Stand Chart, right now, I don't have any comments to this, but for the rest, right, you can see very clearly that the one that is emerging as a champion is OCBC 360, just because it is fast free. It's most desirable if you prefer fast free. Me, because personally, I want to focus on the many other things in life. This one is the most desirable for me lah. Right, and for the DBS multiplier account is also quite fast free. Most desirable if you don't use credit card and you have below 25,000. So if you are quite young in your finances journey, right, you can start off with a DBS multiplier account. And let's say you are spending on your credit card more than $500, you can combine the DBS multiplier together with a UB1 card so that you can get the higher tier interest lah. It's kind of, it stacks up. Okay, so for UOB1, these are the comments that I have. And basically, one simple word is that it's troublesome, which means there are terms and conditions that you need to meet. Certain credit card would have they share with you, oh, this transaction can, this transaction cannot. There's a lot of monitoring to do on your side, and for sometimes they can change their terms and conditions very easily. So it's most desirable if you just want to have the highest interest and not think too much about it lah. So many T&Cs for eligible card spend, you have to check your billing cycle also, because I realized that a couple of you guys, the billing cycles are different. And some of you spend $400 on that particular billing cycle, the next month spend around 600. You're going to miss the entire bonus interest for your UB1, and you don't get your UB1 card thingy. Yeah, so for Xiaomi, SendChart is also fast free. Interest rebate is also quite good lah. So I mean, for me right now, no one has really comment on the SendChart bonus saver yet. So for SendChart bonus saver and compared to OCBC 360, right? Basically, it's around, I think it's around the same. Basically, if you spend a lot on your credit card, you can do consider a SendChart bonus saver, because this is on the percentage. This one is also the percentage slightly lesser. So if you spend more on credit card, do go by go by this. Like I mentioned before, the assumptions that I taking is based on this. You spend $800 on your credit card lah. Spend more than that, then make your own judgment, because I think there is no right, no wrong answer. It's just based on for yourself, what is the best for you lah. Okay, so thanks for participating. Basically, that is the verdict for the bank accounts. Kind of, I will open up the floor to any questions that you guys maybe you all have. Okay, looks like you all don't have any question. I think quite clear lah. Basically, to me, my personal preference is OCBC 360. For those of you who are kind of like me, also want fast free but spend more on credit card, the SendChart bonus saver account would make sense also. For those of you who have small capital, DBS multiplier, like not bad lah. And for those of you who just want to have the highest interest UB1. Okay, so Hui-Tin, you mentioned for OCBC 360 to start, you mean there must be a deposit of 10,000? Oh, no, no, no. So for Hui-Tin, right, you don't need to start with 10,000. For the 10,000, right, it basically just means I assume this person has a capital of 10,000. If your capital, the amount your bank account is small, right, this is the amount of interest you will generate a year. Okay, so based on this, it seems like it is that UB1 account is more superior compared to the rest lah. Okay, so hope that answer your question. Any other question for this? Okay, so I know some of you just came in and okay, so Charlotte, you have answered. Seems like for credit card expenses, it is better to focus on one card aligned to our strategy, so that you can maximize spend to maximize interest income to our link account. Yes and no. So I think it still depends on I think it depends on what kind of strategy that you want. And so I think for your particular scenario, right, you should focus more on one particular bank, because that will give you the highest interest, or rather your credit card spend will rack out more interest as compared to the other bank accounts. So yes, to answer your question and then specifically to you, right? Yes, you should focus your spending on one card, or rather on one bank. Okay, so hope I answer your question, Charlotte. Any other questions from the floor? Okay, need to clean up a lot. Yeah, I can help you with that if you need to lah. But yep. So any other, if you have any questions, I will. So I just end off. Like, I think we have some good questions on the floor already, and just want to go back to the previous all the way up. Right. Today we are just focusing on level one ref. Basically, level one ref is to max out this account over here. But there are psychology. This is what I call the psychology account. This is what we call the ref. That is our level two, and our investment over here. So personal finance always start from, I call it the 101. Today version 3.1 is basically over here lah. The rest I will not be touching today. Hope that all it has been quite wonderful. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And there's two things that I will want to give you guys lah. Basically, number one is this: I'm helping people by, if you are thinking how to improve in your personal finance journey, right? Do join me in my Wealth Dojo Telegram chat. Basically, the Telegram chat is where I just post one wealth management hack a day. So every day, if you want to learn something new, just go on to your Telegram, take a QR code on this, and you can just learn something a day over there in the Telegram chat. And I created a Wealth Dojo care pack for my clients. Basically, is I call it the best of best. There are many websites that share with you on, let's say, these are the places you can get groceries, and there's like 11 or 12 links. So I realized that it's a lot of things for people to just consider and choose also. So for Wealth Dojo Care Pack is basically a PDF file whereby I call it the best of best. Let's say you want to buy it is from like bubble tea to where you get groceries. I went to find out which one are actually the best in Singapore at the moment, so that you guys can actually tie through this circuit breaker lah. We have another 3 more weeks to go, so we really want to share this care pack with each and every one of you for just tuning in to Wealth Dojo lah. Okay, so that's it for me today. If you have any questions, I will just stay on here for 5 minutes lah.